today is Stan Wagstaff at entrepreneursnet.net, soon to be ePrims.com. Really excited to have with us today Jack Bonneau. He is a former contestant on Shark Tank. It's part of his claim to fame. But he's also been an entrepreneur and started a couple of businesses already. And for a 14-year-old, that's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive for even a 50-year-old to start a couple businesses, but really impressed with what he's done. A couple of his businesses are Jack Stands and Marketplace that sold lemonade and other items for the marketplace. He may tell you more about that today. And he is currently running Teen Hustle, which is he can tell you more about. It's a really innovative program to try to deliver foods and other services. Again, I don't want to get too far these two with it, or think more about it. But we really appreciate him being here today, and welcome, Jack. I turn it over to you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Hi, my name is Jack Bonneau. I'm 14 and I'm a freshman in my high school. And this is my first live presentation. And I want to say thank you to everyone who has taken the time today and is staying safe during these challenging times. And I want to welcome everyone worldwide viewing my presentation through the Entrepreneurs Network. I also want to welcome the over 1,000 teachers and students throughout Colorado and nationwide who registered for my presentation today on Teen Hustle. My presentation will also include various videos of my Shark Tank episode and have a great video shot by Whistle Media that highlighted what both Jack Stands and Marketplaces and Teen Hustle is all about. But with everyone at home, remote learning, and online trying to get outside of homes, the videos are going to be a little bit choppy. So I'm going to show various slides and share this with you through my Chromebook, through Zoom. And what I want to do today is just share my story and journey with you to hopefully inspire you to start your own business or nonprofit or charitable project or whatever you're passionate or are interested in, because you can do this at any age. So what I'll share with you today is how I started a business when I was 9 years old and how I was able to pitch it in front of sharks on Shark Tank when I was 10, and how I created my own brand of lemonade, which failed when I was 12, and how I started my second business last year when I was 13. It all started when I was 8 years old, and I wanted the Lego Star Wars Deathstar, but it cost $400. I asked my dad if I could get it, but he said that I would have to buy it myself, and I was like, well, I'm only 8 years old. How am I going to make $400? But my dad suggested that I started a lemonade stand. But instead of putting it at the end of my street, I put it at my local farmer's market. That summer, I sold $2,000 worth of lemonade and iced tea, and yes, I got my Lego Death Star. There's that. It took me 2 months to build the 4,000 piece Lego with a couple of friends, but I had a great time and I was able to accomplish something really big. And the following year, I wanted to do the same thing and share that great experience that I had with other kids. So I expanded to 4 farmers market locations and created my website, jackstands.com. And at jackstands.com, kids and families can sign up for a date and a location to operate my stands. Kids learn how to greet and serve the customer, how to make change, take credit cards, how to track their sales, just like this. Yeah, like this. Those are a couple kids working through the profit and loss statements. That awesome. Started. So at the end of the day, I'll teach them how to greet and serve the customer, how to make change, take credit cards, how to track their sales, and basically just how to operate the stand. And then at the end of the day, we'll go through a mini profit and loss statement to figure out the revenue, expenses, profit, and tips. Like the revenue, your total sales, and then expenses, expenses, and then you subtract your expenses minus your revenue. And then that's how you figure out your profit. And then you add that to your tips, and then you're able to figure out how much you made for the day. 1 second. Turn it back. Okay. Awesome. So, yep, here's the, and here's just another picture of just kids learning how to operate the stands. Awesome. Like I said, we teach them about the mini profit and loss statement, revenue, expenses, profit, and tips. And I was getting so many customers at my Jack Stands location around the same time that I had gotten to know some of the other young entrepreneurs had their own great products that they were selling. And I asked them if I could sell their products at my Jack Stands locations. Many said yes. And then that helped me start Jack's Marketplaces. And Jack's Marketplaces, as you can see, this is me on my local news station, 9 News. And then like this. And then here's just another, just more footage of me and Jack's Marketplaces. At Jack's Marketplaces, I sold great products from other young entrepreneurs and told their inspirational stories on how they created their products. From 2016 to 2018, I've had my Jack's Marketplaces at great malls around the Denver-Boulder metro area during the holiday seasons. Kids were able to operate those locations during the same way as my Jack Stands during the summer. The first time my story was shared outside of my hometown was when the New York Times shared my story. And here's another slide for that. Just shows my New York Times episode or article. And after that, I was contacted by the Today Show. So me and my dad, we made a road trip out of it. And I had my lemonade stand at Rockefeller Center. And I was giving a tour of the NASDAQ Stock Exchange, where I was given a shout out on the 7-story video screen in Times Square. And I was also interviewed on national TV through the Today Show and Fox and Friends. So here's that little shout out, me in New York. Awesome. And when I was in New York, I was lucky to find out that there was an open audition for Shark Tank the following day. That morning of the audition, me and my dad, we put together a pitch that I gave by myself to one of the producers of the Shark Tank. A couple of months later, I was contacted to be on the show. We had to submit several videos of my pitch and fill out several dozen forms to be on the show. But after 5 months, I was able to pitch on Shark Tank in Los Angeles. There's about 40,000 businesses that pitch producers on Shark Tank at open auditions every year. And out of that, only about 150 businesses are selected to pitch in front of the Sharks in LA. And out of that number, less than 100 businesses actually have their episode air on TV. And if you're lucky to make it that far to air on TV, about half the deals you see, half get deals and half don't on television. And if you do get a deal, it's really just a handshake deal that you see on there. And only around 55% of the deals that you see actually close. That's about 1 out of every 1,500 businesses that actually get a deal. But many businesses also seek the value of the exposure that Shark Tank provides, as it's viewed by millions of people. And when I pitched on Shark Tank, I was just 10 years old and the youngest male to ever pitch on the show. My Shark Tank experience was great. And I always get asked if I was nervous. That's probably the most common question when I was speaking. And I would say that I was more excited than nervous. Before I pitch, I spent a lot of time practicing answering questions that the sharks may ask. I also had weekly phone calls with the 2 Shark Tank producers that were assigned to me to help improve and refine my pitch. When you enter the hallway leading into the Shark Tank, the sharks don't know what kind of business you are, who you are, and you have to walk and you have to hit the mark and you have to stay there for about a minute. And that's just for the camera and the technicians to make sure that all the audio and visuals are set up. And then after that, they give you the go-ahead, and that's when you start pitching. But then right after you finish, the sharks start firing questions off at you. Here's another. You can see me and my dad in the Shark Tank. Right there. And I answered about 85 to 90% of the questions, but my dad answered the rest. And all told, we were in the Shark Tank about 50 minutes, but they cut it down. They were able to, sorry, 1 second. All right. Yep, here's just another look at my experience in the Shark Tank. There's all the sharks that were going in there. As you can see right there. And the sharks that were on my episode were Mark Cuban, Barbara Corcoran, Kevin O'Leary, or Mr. Wonderful as we know him, Lori Grenier, and Chris Sacca. Chris Sacca was the guest shark who was off and on for about 2 years. And my opening pitch to the sharks was for $50,000 in exchange for 10% of my business. The first shark to go out was Mark Cuban. Mark praised my efforts and said that this is one of the major reasons he does Shark Tank, to inspire youth. He started his business when he was 12, but he wasn't sure that my business could expand outside of Colorado. I've also been able to meet him a couple other times outside of the Shark Tank, which was pretty cool. The second shark that went out was Mr. Wonderful. He said that he wants to invest in businesses that have full-time operators, but he didn't want me to drop out of school, so he passed on my business. The third shark that was going out was Barbara Corcoran. She thought that it was great, but that I was going in the wrong direction. She thought that I should stick with the lemonade stands and not do Jack's Marketplace with the other young entrepreneurs' products because you have to deal with the inventory, and she felt that Jack's stands was simpler. And she was right, it was simpler. But it was important to me to work with and support with other young entrepreneurs to sell their products and share their inspirational stories. She said that I had done a great job and that I was an inspiration. The fourth shark that went out was Lori Grenier. Lori said that she couldn't believe how sharp, fearless, articulate, and amazing I was. And I thought I was only 10, and she was blown away. But she also said that since I was so young and still in school, I should grow a little bit more slowly until I'm a little bit older. So by now, I've been rejected by 4 sharks on national television. So what do you do when you're 10 or at any age and have been rejected like that? Or you've been rejected by investors who you pitch your business to, or colleges that you've hoped to attend, or employers you hope to get a job with. My lesson that I took away is that you appreciate that you took the chance and received great feedback on what others would call mistakes. And the experience has already been amazing, whether or not I got a deal. The last shark was Chris Sapa. Chris is a billionaire, where his net worth was made with early investments in Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Uber. Chris then said to me that he wasn't going to let the best pitch of the year leave without an offer. Chris's offer was $50,000 as a loan with 2% interest. He structured it so that I could receive $10,000, and if I was keeping up with the payments and the business was looking good, I could draw down another $10,000. I turned to my dad and asked what he thought, and he said it sounded great to me, but it was up to me. I then turned to Chris and I accepted his deal. And I was so excited and relieved that I had gotten a deal and that all the hard work and practice had paid off. It was a great experience and one of the many ways that my work has paid off. And here's another slide of me and my dad exiting the Shark Tank. Yep, we were able to celebrate for a job well done. Yep. And over the next few years after Shark Tank, Jack's Stands and Marketplaces operated at dozens of locations. And during the summer, Jack's Stands operated at farmers markets and events during the holiday season. Jack's Stands and Marketplaces operated at 4 malls over 4 years. Kids between 7 to 12 years old have operated thousands of shifts over the years. And now that I'm a teenager, I'm trying to change Jack's Stands to a nonprofit so it can work with other nonprofits who support youth entrepreneurship to be able to reach out to more kids and experience and learn about entrepreneurship and business. Jack's Marketplaces will be an experimental part of Teen Hustle, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. Jack's Stands and Marketplaces was very rewarding to be able to work with so many kids to learn about entrepreneurship, business, help them develop social and life skills while they earned money and had some fun. But having a business that operated during the summer and holiday season was really hard since it didn't have income year-round. So to try and solve this problem, I developed my own brand of organic lemonade that I started to sell at Jack's Stands locations. I then tried to grow this business. I reached out to local restaurant chains here in Colorado, and I was fortunate that a small fast food chain of 34 fast food restaurants in Colorado agreed to carry out my organic lemonade at all 34 locations. This was great, but I didn't know anything about going from making a few gallons of lemonade at home for my stands to servicing a small chain that would require thousands of gallons of my lemonade. Also, the challenge was that that it was February and I had to figure out how to get enough lemonade made to support 34 restaurants during the summer and do it by May or in a little bit of over 90 days. We scrambled to find a commercial kitchen and packer to make my formula of lemonade. But we did, and by May, we had over 1,000 gallons of organic concentrate made and shipped to their warehouse to be distributed to their restaurants. And here's another slide that'll show you that. Awesome. So this is me making my lemonade, turn it back. And there's that. And my lemonade made it right to the restaurants before Memorial Day, toward the end of May, and it was starting to sell. But then something not good happened. Some people came back to the restaurants and said that they didn't like my organic lemonade. So the company pulled all of the organic lemonade back from their restaurants and said they couldn't risk having dissatisfied customers. So it was a total loss to me and Jack Sands. The reason that this happened was when I first met with the restaurant's leadership, I gave them a small batch of organic lemonade that I created in my kitchen, and they liked it. When we were creating my organic lemonade in such a large quantity, we had some company staff taste what we had made, and they liked it. We tried getting the company leadership to taste what we had created as a final approval, but we were unable to get a meeting with them, and we were rushing up to the deadline to get it to them, so we were forced to ship out to meet the deadline. The problem really was that they never sold organic lemonade before, and their customers were used to a different and it was unexpected taste for them. And if we had gotten that meeting, it likely would have been able to avoid the total loss that happened. But the restaurant chain was nice enough to give me a portion of lemonade sales during that summer to help offset some of the losses that I experienced. And one of the lessons is not everything works out, but if you learn from it and not let it discourage you from moving forward, then you can turn it to a positive later on. Learn from that experience. And here's it's kind of backwards, but this is one of the things that we were, it was like advertising for my new organic lemonade from Jack Sands, but it just didn't end up working out. As a teenager, I realized that that teens weren't going to operate Jack Sands in marketplaces. So I wanted to create a business that would appeal more to teenagers, switching from Jack's marketplaces to Teen Hustle. And when I was researching my new business, I came to learn that decades ago, millions of kids in the United States used to have their own businesses, delivering newspapers every day. They would get up in the morning or come home after school and deliver newspapers around their neighborhood to their homes. And they would have to make sales to new homeowners to grow their business. And each week or two, they would collect and go around and collect what they were owed, and they would pay the newspaper company for the papers that they sold. It was a real business. Teens who had paper routes learned many skills that lasted them their entire lives. And here's another slide to, just to show, teenagers decades ago, millions of them used to have their own businesses delivering paper on their paper routes. They gained valuable work experience and learned how to manage money and learned about time management. And they developed those social and life skills and just gained more confidence that were able to help them down the road. And today, those opportunities, they just don't exist anymore with online news and the severe decline in home subscriptions of newspapers and adults replacing paper boys and girls. This opportunity has just disappeared. So I thought that, what if I was able to bring back those opportunities that teenagers had decades ago and combine it with today's gig economy and update it for 2020? And that's what I'm doing with my new startup, Teen Hustle. Teen Hustle is a service for restaurants, convenience stores, and Amazon products to be delivered by local teenagers on electric scooters and personal bikes to their local neighborhoods. And here's just a slide to show you. Here's the electric scooters and the backpack. That's me on right here. And then that's another Teen Hustler. Back. Go. Yep. And Teen Hustle brings back the opportunity that millions of youth had decades ago when they delivered newspapers, but they updated for today. And there are over 24 million teenagers in America, and they reside in every neighborhood across the nation. Teen Hustle estimates that in 2019, there were 1 million teenagers who looked for jobs, but were just unable to find one. And Teen Hustle is bringing this dependable, tech-savvy workforce to thousands of locations across the nation. In the food delivery space, there are 3 sides of a market, including the restaurants, the delivery service, and the consumer/customer. And Teen Hustle offers 2 core services. The first is in, like I said, the food delivery space, where teen hustlers would deliver food and convenience items from local restaurants to their local neighborhoods, just like a DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub, but only delivered by teenagers. And here are just some more slides to give you an idea of what this looked like. So this is a teen hustler picking up an order from a restaurant. And then this is the teen hustler at a home. And then this is the teen hustler dropping off the food. So that's our first core business. Our second service is Amazon Locker Delivery and Returns. This is where neighbors have their Amazon packages delivered to the nearest Amazon location, and their local teen hustler will pick up the package and deliver it to them when they are home. Here's some, just give you an idea of this. So this is me performing a pickup at an Amazon Locker location near me. And then this is me entering the code that I received for the Amazon package. And this is me taking out the package. Yep, and this is me. I'm all done with the delivery, and I'm off to deliver it to the customer. And this service is actually eliminating packages from being stolen from front porches and doors or being damaged by the weather. It eliminates porch pirates. And it also provides the convenience of a personal delivery versus you having to drive out to the Amazon Locker. We also provide Amazon Locker returns, where a teen hustler will pick up the Amazon, their return, and they won't have to package or return that and drive it to an Amazon locker or post office. The teen hustlers will do that for them. And Teen Hustle offers many teens the opportunity to their first work experience in the workforce. And teen hustlers are employees. We employ them instead of independent contractors. And they learn how to safely and courteously deliver. Teen Hustle delivers within 10 minutes from pickup to delivery with teens who are from your local community and that you would likely see again and again, unlike any other delivery random adult from a delivery service driver. Safety is also Teen Hustle's #1 priority. And whether it's through our tamper evidence seals on all the food being delivered or through our live stream video of all of our deliveries and public interactions of Teen Hustlers, safety is our #1 priority. And unlike any other delivery services, Teen Hustler is able to record all deliveries for the food safety of our customers, as well as the physical safety of our teen hustlers. The food safety of our consumers and the physical safety of our teen hustlers. And Teen Hustle, we also pride ourselves on being eco-friendly because for every 3 Teen Hustle electric scooters operated annually, Teen Hustle eliminates the equivalent of 2 cars' CO2 emissions annually. Once Teen Hustle is at scale, our hope is that we will save the equivalent of over 250,000 vehicle CO2 emissions annually, or 1 million metric tons of CO2 from the atmosphere. Teen Hustle hopes to employ hundreds, if not thousands, of teen hustlers during this year and anticipates employing over 100,000 teens over the next 2 to 3 years. For more information, you can go to teenhustle.com. That's teenhustle without the E.com. Now, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Thank you. Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna get these questions up now.
Thank you very much, Jack. This is great. So thanks for presenting today. Appreciate it.
Thank
I
you.
have a few questions there for you if you are ready for some questions, or do you want to take some of the ones that you have there?
Sure. How about I'll take a couple of the ones that I have, and then we'll loop back to the questions you have.
Okay, great.
Awesome. All right. So the first question is what? Yep. So from Oliver Esquivel, the first question is, are you still in debt? So funny thing, the deal with Chris Saka, like I said, some deals don't close, and my deal didn't end up closing actually. So Chris ended up saying that he just wanted to give me the public win, and but this was a good experience for me. It taught me about perseverance, and along with the good times deal that fell through. And the reason that the deal fell through was around the same time he chose to stop investing in all businesses. He left Shark Tank, and he just chose to go down a different life path, which is something that he also explained to me. All right, So we have another question. How can you still make profit during this time and the stay-at-home order? That's a great question. So delivery, especially food delivery, is an essential service during this time. And obviously, Teen Hustle is, we pride ourselves on safety. So every teen hustler that delivers uses sanitary gloves, hand sanitizers, and just all around safety. And we are able, because actually during this time, delivery has spiked because of the need for it. Food delivery, Amazon package delivery. So that's how we're able to stay profitable. And our next question is, do you have or need a business partner? Right now for Teen Hustle, I am the chief evangelist. My dad is the CEO, and we our other partner, Peter Kent, is the COO. So I have a team in the works, and we're looking just to add to that team. But we have a team right now. So. Oh yeah. So do we have any questions from you, David?
Yep. So there's a few questions here. So
Awesome.
The first one is, did the show give you ongoing contact with either people on the Shark Tank or other investors?
Repeat the question.
So the question was, did the show give us ongoing contact with other entrepreneurs or with the investors of that show? And the answer is no. The only contact we had after the show was with the Chris Saka, who made the deal with me to work that out. So there wasn't any other contact with any other sharks after that.
Okay, and Nisha from India typed in, where will this be shown later? Can she see the recording again? And I can answer that one.
Sure, yeah.
So it's available on entrepreneursnet.net. Thanks for the question, Nisha. I appreciate that. You want to go back to one of those questions, or you want me to ask some other ones?
Sure. So the question on there was, if I want to view a recording, how do I view that? You can go to Entrepreneurs Network, entrepreneurs.net.
Entrepreneursnet.net.
Okay, entrepreneursnet.net, and a recording of it will be posted there. Or you can go to my YouTube channel. If you're a student and you'd like to watch this again, you can go to my YouTube channel. Yes. Any other questions, David?
Yep. So have you talked to other investors since then, or have you done like a formal investor pitch?
Sure. So during this time, investor meetings obviously can't happen, and we are currently raising a pre-seed round of $100,000, and next week we will actually be having an investor pitch. I won't be asking for any money since it's an open forum, but I will be pitching to some actual investors to gauge their interest and see what they think about my business. That will be next week. May 7th, same time. Awesome. Do we have another question?
Yep, a few more questions here. Let's see.
Great.
Do you have an advisor or mentor? And then a follow-up on that is, if you do, how did you find the advisor or mentor?
Sure. So I have several mentors and advisors to Teen Hustle. One very important one is Alex Cantor. He is the CEO of Ordermark, and Ordermark is a platform that aggregates all of the delivery services onto one tablet for restaurants to make it easier for them to manage food delivery. He has a lot of insight in this space, and he's one of our advisors. Another, we have two, that's Jim and Denise Franklin, who we met through the Boulder Seed Angel Forum, an investor pitch where I pitched my other business, Jack Stanza Marketplaces. So we stayed in contact with him, and so those are just a few of my advisors. We also have Nicole Glaros, who's involved with the Startup Accelerator Techstars, and Reggie, former Bronco Reggie Rivers.
So a common question I get is, how do you find those folks? I know you said one was at the Angel Venture Fair or Angel
Sure.
Venture event.
Yes.
So how did you get invited? All those kinds of things. I know people are always interested in that. Yeah.
Sure. So the question was, how did I find those advisors? And the answer to that was, for the Boulder Seed Angel Forum, like I mentioned, where I met several investors, I did apply to that. and they wanted to hear me speak and hear what my business was. And for Nicole Glaros, I got involved with Techstars. I was actually, I spoke to a graduating Techstars class. I brought my lemonade stand to a Techstars location, and we met Nicole there. So, really, the way that I gained those was just putting myself out there, going to all these different opportunities that presented themselves to me, and just making as many connections as I could. So, David, I think we're gonna do a few more questions from the teachers and students, if that's good with you, and then we might circle back.
Perfect.
Awesome. All right. So KH asked a question, what was your favorite thing about Shark Tank? My favorite thing was just how supportive the Sharks were. I was able to pitch my business, and I felt like I did a good job, and they gave me some valuable feedback that I was able to use to improve my business. So I'd say just the valuable feedback that the Sharks gave me was the best part of Shark Tank. All right. So a question from Nyla, what company carried your lemonade? So it's a company local here to Colorado. It's called Good Times Frozen Custard and Burgers Chain. Good Times Restaurants. Okay. Okay, so this is from Faith Lore. As a teenager in high school, do you ever struggle with balancing schoolwork and personal life with being a young entrepreneur? Now, this is a great question, and one that I get very frequently. It was tough for me to find the balance, especially with Teen Hustle. But with Jack Stands, that was a seasonal business. Only farmers market in the summer, and I was at the malls over the holiday season. So I was able to balance that pretty well. I did have to take off some time from school during the holiday seasons, but my teachers were very supportive. Now with Teen Hustle, I need to, it's a little bit more complicated because this is not a seasonal business, it's a year-round business, but, and this is what's great about Teen Hustle, is that hours only take place after school or on the weekends. So it allows kids the opportunity that they need to complete any schoolwork that they might have. All right, David, do we have a few more questions from you?
Let's see. So how about competitors, right? Like there's other delivery services. So what is your view of competitors first, right? Like, do you embrace them, or do you try to fight them, or what do you do with competitors?
Sure. So the question was, what are our views about our competitors, the bigger delivery services like DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats? And I'd have to say, I believe that my delivery service is better than theirs. And here are the few competitive advantages that we have. First of all, we're eco-friendly. We use electric scooters and personal bikes when these other delivery services are driving around in their cars, pinballing all over the place, causing high CO2 emissions. And second is local teenagers are delivering to you. And these might be teenagers that you know, and you're supporting youth entrepreneurship and your community when you order through Teen Hustle from your local restaurants. So I believe, what? Yeah, and another very good and competitive advantage that we have is we treat our Teen Hustlers as employees instead of independent contractors. All these other delivery services treat them as independent contractors, but we treat them as employees because we're able to more directly and explicitly direct them on how they're supposed to deliver, and we're able to give them specific instructions to improve the consumer and customer experience, different trainings. David, one more question, maybe?
Let's see, maybe one more question on what do you view your future? So what are your plans?
Sure, so the question was, what's my plan for my future? I just want to see where Jack Stands and Marketplaces as a nonprofit and Teen Hustle go. I'm really interested in seeing how Teen Hustle plays out because I know that there's teenagers who want a job, and I know that during this time, restaurants really need this food delivery. So I'm just going to try and capitalize on this opportunity and provide kids the opportunity to get involved in the workforce. And, I'm definitely going to go to college, so we'll just see how it all pans out. Awesome. So David, I can do a few more questions from you, but I'm just going to answer a few from the teachers and students.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. So question from Alex Bergman is, what advice would you give to people who want to start their own business? And what I say to that is just do it. That's all that it took for me. I wanted a Lego Deathstar, which was $400, and I was 8 years old. But instead of saying, oh, I might not want to do this, I built a lemonade stand, and I put it at my farmer's market. I just went and did it. And same with these other young entrepreneurs. You just have to put yourself out there and see what opportunities arise for you during this time. All right, so from Anthony, we have what are the 3 sides of the food delivery marketplace that Teen Hustle participates in? So the 3 sides of it are, first is the restaurants where the food is coming from. Then is the delivery service that's delivering the food from the restaurants to the third part, which is the consumers and customers who are actually ordering the food. And okay, we have a question from Kramer. How do you determine profit? So profit's pretty simple. You just, from your revenue, which is your total sales of the day, you subtract your expenses, which is the cost that it took to run the stand. You subtract your expenses from your revenue, and you're left with the profit, or how much you made after expenses. All right. All right, so did it take a lot of, so Emily's asking, did it take a lot of planning before you were able to launch your businesses? Well, I was younger when I launched Jack Stands and Marketplaces, so, and not as much because we were just trying it out for the first year. We applied to be in the farmer's market, and, you know, I just had a simple lemonade stand. The following years, it did take some planning and preparation, including building my website and expanding to different farmer's market locations, and getting local media so that people knew that we were providing this opportunity. And for Teen Hustle, we wanted to introduce it at the right time, and it did take some planning, just figuring out the logistics of it. How will customers order? How will we get that order to the Teen Hustlers? How will they know when and where to deliver the food? So I'd say Teen Hustle required a lot of planning and preparation. All right. So we have another question from Vanessa. Have you had any interaction with Mikaela, owner of Me and the Bees Lemonade? And actually, yes, I've known Mikaela for several years now. And we were actually on the same panel at during a pitch conference, a young entrepreneurs pitch conference called Pitch Yeah in Austin, Texas. But no, I've known her over the course of the years. I've actually sold some of her product in my marketplaces, which is pretty cool. So glad that Vanessa brought that up. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So question from Justin, what lessons came out of your deal with Good Times? Now, this is, Good Times was a real, it was a very important moment for me because we had made thousands of gallons of lemonade and we just, they didn't want it. They weren't satisfied with, the customers weren't satisfied with the taste. So, you know, it was mostly perseverance for me because that was a pretty big hit. It was a total loss for us. But after that, you know, you just got to keep persevering and pushing past that because I still had my stands in the malls during the holiday season. So, you know, I really just say perseverance, just push past the hard parts and stay in it. Yeah. Oh yeah, and the most obvious lesson, make sure that someone's, the head signs off on your lemonade before you make thousands of gallons of it. Awesome. David, do we have any more questions over there?
How about Shark Tank? Has there ever been an alumni event for Sharks? We have a couple of Sharks on, Shark Tank participants on Entrepreneurs Net, and I'm just curious if you've seen anything like that or heard of anything like that.
So the question is, has there ever been like any Shark Tank alumni get together or a connection? And there really hasn't, no. Sometimes sharks will bring together those who they've invested in. But that's really just for those who actually close the deal. And like Barbara Corcoran once did this thing where all the companies she invested in, she brought together. But my deal didn't close as Chris Sacca went out of investing. So that hasn't been the experience for me. Yes. Any other questions, David?
I think that's all I have as a question. At the end of this, if you could just stay on for a minute longer, just so we can talk for just a minute, that'd be great.
Great. All right. And another question from Alex Bergman. What is the favorite part of your business? So the favorite part of my business is through Jack Stands and Marketplaces and Teen Hustle is just being able to help kids. It's very rewarding just to see how these kids improve and change because of their experience at my stands, marketplaces, or through Teen Hustle. They learn social and life skills that have benefited me and I know will benefit them down the road through their life. So I'd say that that's my favorite part.
Any more questions from any of this?
Awesome. And so I think we're, any more questions from the students and teachers? If you have any more questions, get them in now. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you everyone again for your time. I want all of you guys to be safe. And I want to say thank you to all the essential workers during this challenging times, especially our ER, hospital staff. Thank you all for your time. I hope you learned something. Please be kind to one another. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack. Really appreciate having you on today. You did a great job.
Yeah,
and
thank
I'm
you.
sure it'll be an inspiration for all entrepreneurs and especially young entrepreneurs. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.